Is it good evening, ladies and gentlemen? Some energy, please. Good evening.
Good evening.
It's unfortunate that I don't have that golden voice, but yes. Over 10 years ago, I used to think that the statement that it takes a village to raise a child was true. Not until I gave birth to a child with multiple disabilities. A beautiful girl, very passionate about disability inclusion at the age of 10. I'm so very much delighted that I'm part of this festival where we are celebrating diversity, creativity, and unity. Some of my mentors used to tell me that each time you go in a place, make sure that you befriend a minimum of 3 people. How many have befriended some people here? Can I shake your hands? Wow, that is, you're really, really real advocates. In that role, I've got to know a few people. I know Brenda, I know Ahmed, I know Cosmas. Hey, I know now the journalists that I've just presented. I know Dan, and my colleague, Dr. Aaron. I sit with him on the technical working group, and when he phoned me here, it's like, Ruth, where are we in the working group? We are ever busy. So today, I'm going to share with you some of the stories from Uganda on how we use music to inspire voices on disability inclusion, awareness raising, and how we use the music as a tool to advocacy. For those that cannot see me, it's unfortunate that I always fail to describe myself. I'm tall. Am I tall? I always put on high-heeled shoes, but today I'm in, what are these shoes called? Canvases? I don't know. I'm putting on trousers and a flowered top. I'm always described as a young lady with a white head. So for those that cannot really see me, I have 1-inch hair, white in color, not tinted, but natural tint. So before we can go into the presentation, which is already displayed up with a title, Amplifying Voices and Fostering Social Change Through Music and Art. Who love music here? If you love music, just put up your hand. Oh, wow. Put down your hands. How many of you have used the music to express your feelings? How many of you have used the music to express your feelings? Hey, wow. How many of you have ever suffered stigma, prejudice, discrimination of any kind? If you've ever suffered stigma, discrimination, how about those without disabilities? People stigmatize me because of my white head. Okay. Do you think you have the potential to change the world around you? Yes, no? You have the potential. Powerful. I remember when I was in senior 2, that's when boys started disturbing me, and I was a very tiny girl. And a boy would write to you a letter with a song, "Send me the pillow." Huh? You know that song? My fellow seniors. "Send me the pillow." Which other songs do boys used to dedicate to you? Dedicated to, with a flower, a heart, with a spear going through, an arrow. Eh? They were trying to they were trying to express their feelings. And you would get that letter and hide in a toilet. Or cover yourself in the blanket. And you read and put it here. And you start listening. I'm sending my pillow to him. All right. That was all the power of music. So this afternoon, that's what we are going to look at. And today's session is going to be very, very interactive. Displayed up there is a group of young girls. Some, 3 of them are in a wheelchair. Young boys and girls of about 8 to 19. Then we have one that is seated in the middle, decorated as a champion. And then the last one, the other side, is holding a clutch, which means he's a clutch user. Then the poster in the background has the World Spina, Bifida, and Hydrocephalus Day, which is always commemorated on the 25th of October. Those are some of the youths we have back home. And the one in the middle is my beautiful daughter, who is right now the mobility champion for Momentum Wheels for Humanity based in California. She was being crowned as the mobility champion. And the things we have been talking about since morning, about how do we use media, videos, how do we work with the journalists, that's what we do. And we do this kind of work right from home. I remember when I gave birth to my daughter, the world disowned me. I was working with Medical Research Council, London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine as a social scientist. And I decided to first put work down to take care of my girl, who underwent 4 major surgeries in the first 3 months. How many of you here know Spina, Bifida, and Hydrocephalus? If you know that condition, you know. Mike, can I please have that video played? The one I said last. Yes. Yeah, so before I can go straight into the presentation, if you answered yes to any of the questions I asked earlier, then this presentation is for you. Every platform I go to, it's very, very important for people to know, to get something to learn that they thought maybe it was very far from them, or they had never imagined. And we are going to see how awareness raising, advocacy, is done through music. Because I'm presenting last, I wanted to play this video last, but because I'm working with adults, people who have been sitting since morning, I've decided to bring it first, so that like we shake a little, and then we dive into the topic tonight. This video is it's about the disability I always talk about. The name usually disturbs people. And actually in Uganda, they have known nationally as Ruth Bifida. That's the condition I always talk about. But Bifida is not my name. And I don't feel bad about it, because that shows that the world is now getting to know about this neurotube defect. It's a disability that a child acquires when she's still in the mother's womb in the first 21 days after conception. Before you know that you're pregnant, your child is already having this condition. So young ladies here in the house, let's watch the video. We'll get to know about how we can prevent some of these disabilities. It's very unfortunate for us advocates to always keep singing about disabilities and we don't talk about how to prevent them. Our journalist here has been telling us that he got an accident when he was really, when he had tested the life. Yes, so let's watch the video. Pay attention, I'll ask you questions. Thank you.
Spina Bifida, we bulwadde obwatawanya obulamu bwange, si musango tonchawa, taata wange ne maama wange, sirina mutawaana, omukizi yeeva mulemu, omutwe guzimba lw'amazzi, bannange sikirina mu mukono, ndi muntu mulungi temunsosola, mu masomero tusangayo okusosolebwa naye kiki, ne mu malwaliro oluusi batugoba mbwe byaffe bizibu, sonna naffe endwadde zituluma naye okutugobaganya kiki ennyo, ekikula kino si kyeyagalire, obulemu tebusaba tokudaala, Spina Bifida bwe bulwadde obwatawanya obulamu bwange, si musango tonkyawa, taata wange ne maama wange, sirina mutawaana, omukizi yeeva bulemu, omutwe ne guzimba lw'amazzi, bannange sikirina mu mukono, ndi muntu mulungi temunsosola.
Great. So that song has had several parts. It sensitizes the public about the condition, but not the issue alone, but several issues within one song, and the children are able to do it by themselves. Let's dive into our presentation this afternoon and we'll see what happens. Yes, that's my name, Ruth Nalugya, and my email address, ruth.nalugya@shaivunda.org. So, can I have my yellow stickers? Post-it? We are going to do some small activity very, very quickly. I'm just going to put on that table. Just distribute on that table. So I just want a few people to answer those questions. Question 1 is what critical problem is currently being faced by young people with disability in your community? I want to see everyone at least. Yes. Then question 2, list one change you believe you can create in your community. And question 3, what are the things you're passionate about? Are we together? I'll make you sing. Question 1, what critical problem is currently being faced by young people with disability in your country? Question 2 is list one change you believe you can create in your community. And number 3, what are the things you're passionate about? Yes, only yellow. Please, you're going to answer those questions as we proceed. Make sure each one of us here, right? I'll just pass by the table and pick a sticker as we proceed. Ladies and gentlemen, are we together?
Yes.
Good. Have you picked all the issues? We proceed. Number 2 is list one change you believe you can create in your community. Then 3, what are the things you are passionate about? What are the things you are passionate about? We proceed, ladies and gentlemen. Good. So, as we proceed, it is very, very important for us to reflect on our session objectives. As I take you through this session, ladies, please lend me your ears and eyes. Beautiful. Our first objective is to develop an understanding of the power of music and art as tools of social change. Then objective 2 is for us to explore how music and art can be used to amplify the voices of people with disabilities. Then objective 3 is to reflect on the potential challenges and opportunities of using music and art as tools for social change. Then objective 4 is for us to create a plan for using music to promote disability social change in one's own community. And lastly, is to develop a network of peers and resources to support continued learning and action around disability rights and social change through music and art. When you look at the last objective, ladies and gentlemen, we are all in the same boat. We are like a human body, several parts of the body, each one of us with their respective roles and responsibilities. But if you want to function as an arm of the body, You understand my point? In advocacy, it is very, very key to know the part of the body you are and on which body you're placed. Am I speaking in parables? If you want to fail in advocacy, do advocacy as an individual. If you want to succeed, know the people you're supposed to work with and work with them. Okay? So we are here as youths. We need to work as peers. Actually, one of the approaches we are using back home in Uganda is called Ubuntu Bulam peer-to-peer support approach. As we promote inclusive education, inclusive health and rehabilitation, human rights advocacy, we are using the approach called Ubuntu Bulam peer-to-peer support approach. Ubuntu Bulam is derived from the notion of Ubuntu, which focuses on reciprocity. If you're in a wheelchair, before you can say people are not helping me, how are you helping them? How are you giving back to your community? Reciprocity, sense of belonging, humanness, etc., etc. All right. So, by the way, I'm a teacher by profession, and when we are training, they always tell us about methodology in class. So, when I got to know the kind of people that I was coming to interact with, I felt that it would be very, very important to make my session as more interactive. We get involved in the creative exercises, do PowerPoint presentation, do some video illustrations, then we shall have some reflections and feedback. In my session, ever since we came here, we've been talking about we've been using some terminologies. And in my presentation, we are going to focus with keywords like advocacy, disability, social change, inclusion, tools, music, and art. On each table, I want each table to pick, okay, I'm going to distribute these words, and each table is going to define for me the keyword up there. This table, please define for me advocacy. This table, disability, define for me disability. Let them get the pink stickers, pink or whichever color. Yes. Then this table, social change. This table, inclusion. This table, music and art. Then the first table up here, tools, in the context of advocacy. Are we together? Good.
Well, I'm not in the car, because that's what she has.
Are we together? Good. Those are 2 exercises so far. I need the definition for advocacy, disability, social change, inclusion, tools, as it is used in advocacy, then music and art. Okay? I'm giving you 1 minute. Tools in the context of advocacy. Okay? Good. With adult learning, all answers are correct. All answers are correct. So just write as you dream. Okay, are we done? Can I have
one representative per table to read for us the definitions. Please, ladies and gentlemen, let us cooperate. Time is not our best ally. This is just to make sure that we are all on the same page, right? Maybe I'm talking about advocacy, but from a different learning arena. Which table is done? Which table is through? Tools are done. Oh my God, come on. Don't write an essay, please. Just a few words. And I would like to welcome Professor Dan here, Mike and Blaze to stand in front here. They are going to tell us whether what has been presented really is. And George, where is George? Okay, so Professor Dan, you're responding to table tools and give them marks.
There's no wrong answer.
Perfect, okay. You will make some additions to their, okay, please.
You're making me feel like I'm in a final examination.
Don't worry. She's defending her thesis.
Alright, so we have given tools, and one of them was data and statistics. Secondly, the advocacy strategic plan or strategy. Thirdly was advocacy materials such as policies and laws. And another one was media. Then the last one was music and art.
What? Thank you.
Esther. I have nothing to add other than, well, we could keep expanding that definition. We could think of physical objects as tools. These can be tools for advocacy, as can a camera or a laptop or these kind of things. So obviously that's expanding it in the line of what Mike was showing, literal objects as tools. But I mean, come on, you couldn't do much better than that in 3 minutes or whatever it was that they had. Wow. Good job.
Let's give them a very big round of applause. Thank you so much. Pass to line A. Yeah? Okay. Advocacy and Blaze, you're making some additions.
I'm ready.
Okay. Wow. As per our discussion, we can say advocacy is an act of raising an agenda so as to increase the awareness and get a desired result. Just short and clear, as we say that way.
Okay. Let's hear from their defender.
I think we have created a new global best practice definition of advocacy. Well done.
Let's clap for them. Yes. Which other table is ready? Social change? Disability, Mike. You're their defender.
It's stand up. Okay.
On our table, we discuss about disability. Disability is a condition wait. Is a condition that impairs, interfere with or limits of a person ability to engage on a certain task.
Wow. Wow. Yes, please, Mikey.
I'm not sure I'm the official expert on this, but what I do say is that it's sounded absolutely perfect. If you can score higher than an A star, I can.
Oh, another 8 there? Wow. That is so beautiful. Yuri, please get up. And I visit table social change. Who is, yes, Yuri, social change.
They using an English a bit as the difference. So, as to change, there are first of all have to understand there is the society, and the society has got to have laws, or things which are called norms. And those norms may be negative, it could be behavior, burns negative, in the society. And now when we do social change, we are talking about exchanging those related behaviors, negative religion, and then kind of abilities to change them to something positive. So I guess in a nutshell, we will say you exchange the negative to positive. You suppose how you negative to positive. That's an example. Or you substances. So you change from different to something new, which is favorable to everybody and which makes everybody comfortable and accepted.
Let's clap for them if you think they are right. Thank you. Then let's hear from their defender.
Yes, we all wish that all changes would be positive.
Well, social change. So in the context of advocacy, we believe that all social change should be positive. Mr. Yes, please stand up and defend table. What's your inclusion? Who is? Okay.
Okay, how we say inclusion is a practice of policy of providing opportunity and resources for people who might otherwise be included or marginalized.
Oh, wait, go slowly, pole. Okay.
We have two definitions. The first one, say, inclusion is a practice of providing opportunity and resources for people who might be excluded or marginalized in the society. And the second definition, say, inclusion is actually removing they provide and provide the accessibility, and we say you can make it, but accessibility we get the inclusion.
Okay, we clap for them if we think they provided us with. All right, let's hear from their defender.
Thank you. I think it's beautiful, right? They both go together and underscores the fact that it's not disability that excludes, but they're barriers that exclude, and that's all we need to do.
Wow, let's give them a very big round of applause. And finally, my captain here is going to defend table music and arts, Cosmos, and the journalist in the field.
How are you? Everyone likes music, isn't it? Yes. Most people, if you want to become rich immediately, is when you make good entertainment, isn't it? Therefore, to me, when we're talking about music and art, is portrayal that portrays some images that later on transform change. To me, I can say music and art is a tool for the change. Social change If we will need immediate social change, we will need music and art. And it is where we see journalists are coming up. It is an art, putting the pictures, and today we are creating something that is an art. Later, that means if we use well music and art, we are likely to change our society. And to me, I go another step. If at any time we want to create the self-advocacy, then we need to involve people with disabilities in music, and so that they can learn the skills of composing music and art. They will do it better. Thank you so much.
Wow. Let's give him now a better handcuff. But before that, let's first hear from their defender, and then we shall decide whether to give them a hot one or just a hour.
One thing forgotten, sports to people with disability. We have a youngster in this room, Luce, our main volleyball player. Volleyball, Luce? And wheelchair basketball and wheelchair tennis. Yes, this is our superstar here. She has already participated in mainly international games in Africa, South Africa, Nigeria, even Italy, Turkey. So we have a superstar here in sports. Why am I speaking this? Yes, because I'm his boss. I'm the president of Tanzania Paralympic Committee, sports to people with disability. And next year, we're gonna take her to Paris 2024.
Wow. Let's give ourselves a very big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so very much. I think that was so powerful.
It is very, very, ladies and gentlemen, very important to
always practice how these terminologies are used as per the international and our national frameworks on the rights of persons with disabilities. As an advocate, you ought to understand how these terminologies are used. Thank you so very much. Then, why do we need music and art? My brother there has added their component of sports. Maybe in the next festival we shall look at sports in disability arena. Music and art, I defined it as the use of creative expressions as a means of promoting a particular cause or advocating for social, political, and environmental issues. Use of expressions, creative expressions. I think you've just seen the children in the video, and their universal language can convey powerful messages, capture emotions, and inspire people to take action or raise awareness about important issue. If you sing to someone and you see them remain like a portrait, you just know nothing has. You understand? Some people sing and you find yourself shedding tears. Some people, when they get their microphone and they use their golden voices, you're like, amazing. So that's the power of music. And so the rationale for us in everything that we do in advocacy to consider that component as very key. So why music and art? We see with music there is strong emotional connection. What do we mean here?
music and art create a strong emotional connections with youth, allowing them to engage with issues of personal and meaningful way. The children you've seen there, with Spina Bifida, a child cannot control their bladder, they cannot control their bowel, they have limited lower sensation, and some of them, for example, if someone brought a chair and a coal fire and placed it on my foot, I wouldn't be able to feel because of that damage on the spinal cord. And most of them are stinking like dead people because of the wounds, septic wounds. So most of them were being hidden. And when we introduced the component of music, every parent brought their children out of the closed doors, and they were involved in that music. And right now, they are at the national platform. No international or national event around disability that is done in Uganda, held in Uganda, where they are not invited to make a performance, to talk about disability issues through their music. So, second issue is creativity and expression. Music and art allow youth to express themselves creatively, giving them a voice and platform to share their opinions, thoughts, and important issues. I'm running through, given the time I have. Persuasive communication. It's only through music and art that you're able to convey complex messages. If I stood in front of you here and I started talking about Spina Bifida, you would just get bored. But through this music, you're able to tell that before I get pregnant, I have to take folic acid, that we have mandatory food fortification regulation in our countries. You know that when I'm flying greens, I don't have to overboil. You understand? And that these children suffer a lot of stigma and discrimination, but they are telling you that we are human beings. Okay? So such complex messages, even fail children, fail youth are able to understand the context of human rights through music and art. Then visibility. The journalists that were here talked about how they are creating visibility for persons with disabilities, and let us always work with them. A very important issue that was not talked about when the journalists were presenting was that they need to have their capacity built in the field of understanding disability issues and how to report about them. The journalists come to us, but when they go, they work with the editors who are not interested in your issues. For them, they are looking at the profits your story are bringing to table. So let's, in our plan, have a component where we build the capacity of all these teams, that the editor, the journalists who come to the field, and other people get to know. And then they will be able to promote this music each time you go to them to have it played. Then accessibility. Music and art are accessible forms of expression that require minimal resources, making them widely available. If you needed music, can I have anyone who can tell us that for me, when I need music, I pay? Apart from data, and here we are on free Wi-Fi, though someone else has paid. So this is something that you can access at any time. Even when you're seated in a taxi and a song is playing in the background, you don't have any choice but to listen to the song. And before you know it, you're learning something from the song. Then community building. Music and art can bring people together, create a sense of community and shared purpose as youth work together to advocate for change. This is an African community setting, and you know how our cultures value music.
It is amazing. Even when leave alone this new generation which sings things that we don't understand, but those guys in the past really had music. Who knows the late Fide Bongo Lirutaya, the HIV/AIDS advocate? Who knows him? You don't. Today is me, tomorrow is her. You don't know that singer? Oh my God. Yeah. Christmas. Ever since I was 1 year, I'm listening to Fide Bongo Lirutaya, Christmas. They start playing his songs in October, and you just know Christmas is in that corner. Music. We shall not do this activity because of time, but I wanted us to do a few demonstrations on how you can use your different talents to communicate the issues in order to cause change. Okay? You allow me not to do this exercise? Good. Thank you. All right. So I just want to walk you through the story from the Uganda case study, where we are using music and art in our Together for Inclusion project, which is a consortium project with the INGOs, OPDs, and other bodies. So in that photo, there are some of our children, youths, with and without disability, singing about inclusive education. In this song, they are able to talk about the frameworks, different frameworks, like Salamanca Treaty of 1994. Who knows what Salamanca Treaty is all about? Good. Who knows what SDG 4 is about? SDG 4, youth in the house, advocates. Only seniors know SDG 4. Hey, who knows UNCRPD 27? 24? Hey, ladies and gentlemen, where are we? Okay. How many articles do we have in SDG? How many? And how many goals?
We also need goals, some people.
Ladies and gentlemen, hey, how many goals? You're very right. And how many articles? 169. Ladies and gentlemen, with advocacy, there are certain SDGs that shouldn't leave your fingertips. SDG 4, 8, 11, they're about 4 or 5. And the Conventions on Rights of Persons with Disabilities articles, you cannot speak from out of the blue. Next session, when we go back to our respective countries, it's very important for us to keep practicing these things. Okay? Ooh. Okay. So now, what was our background when we were thinking of this project on music and art with the youth? Those of you that are seeing me, put up your hands. If you're seeing me, and if you're hearing my voice, put up your hand. Good. I wanted to speak to people who are awake. Our background was that the rights of persons with disabilities needed to be fought for. Agree? So that development programs that are not designed to be inclusive will not easily give youth with disabilities this right. The people best placed to make the argument are those who stand most to gain from it, and these are youth with disabilities. They need to become advocates for inclusive programs, but often
these are the very people who are marginalized and powerless within the society. Therefore, they need to be empowered. Okay? Then you need to be what? Empowered. An empowered youth is the one that has passion towards human rights, the one that, with or without resources, can find a way of speaking about these rights and exploring opportunities to stand in the space to protect, promote the rights of fellow persons with disabilities. In most cases, young people want to be pushed. In advocacy, we don't push, because advocacy is purely pro bono service we give to ourselves and to the community. You understand when I say pro bono? We do understand when I say pro bono? Free. Yeah, you give out a free service. But most of the young people, we want to be paid for us to do advocacy. Then you're in the wrong position. You get my point? Okay? Good. So, in Uganda, that was our background, that we needed people to defend themselves. And so we needed to find strategies on how they can be best empowered. So what were our project or outcomes? The project outcome was improved ability of young people with disabilities to advocate for change and participate in local and national decision-making processes. That was the outcome. You need to define what you want to achieve, okay? Okay, ladies and gentlemen? Good. So, the objectives for our project was 1, to raise awareness and promote advocacy for inclusion among youth with disabilities. I know after here you're going to be required to kind of list your project outcomes and objectives and the overall goal of your project. I'm sharing this so that you're able to pick a leaf. Then 2, our second objective was to provide a platform for youth with disabilities to showcase their talents and advocate for inclusion. With advocacy, you must make sure that the person doing advocacy has taken it, and what do they say? In most cases, when you ask people to participate in something, they ask, what is it in for me? So there must be something for that person. Maybe he wants others to see others included, but also himself to live maybe a better life. That's when advocacy can be effective. Then to engage youth in music, with disabilities in music therapy that nurtures their creativity and self-expression. Music is therapeutic. Then to create alliances with schools, music organizations, and disability organizations to promote inclusion of youth with disabilities. Ladies and gentlemen, no organization will come to partner with you if they don't find you effective, useful, and beneficial to their circles. You must be unique in nature so that everyone would want to tag along with you to do effective advocacy. No one would want to work with lazy people, people who are not creative, people who are not, name it. So you need to always be, that's one of the characteristics of advocates. You always need to be very fast and think outside the box. That is when you will be able to join consortium, you'll be able to join forum, and you'll be able to, yesterday at around 8 p.m.,
I received a call back home, and they were inviting me to go and be part of the Children's Parliamentary Forum. Not me, of course, but my children. They called me at 8 that the Parliamentary Forum is tomorrow, Wednesday, in preparation for malaria. And in most cases, we don't think of other issues to relate them, to align them with disability issues. Can you imagine malaria and disability? Now, the children right now are getting ready to go to Parliament and talk about malaria and disability. If a woman gets malaria when maybe she's pregnant, malaria tends to make people anemic. You agree with me? Do we have some doctors in the house? And once a woman becomes anemic, the outcome of the pregnancy in most cases, if she doesn't lose the baby can get affected, especially in the early days, trimester. You understand? So the children are able to go to the Parliament and discuss about these things. So let us not take things for granted. You identify an issue, you immediately find a way. How is it related to disability? How can we prevent the negative outcomes? Okay? So I've told you that one of our approaches that we used is our main approach is Ubuntu and peer-to-peer support approach. But how did we go about creating this kind of music you've just watched? Uganda is a multilingual country with over 52 languages, George? So many languages. And like the previous presenter said, you must know your audience. You must know which context and what people to work with. So what happens when we are creating this music is we get children from individual regions of the country because each region has a predominant language. And so we work according to the regions. So you might find that this one song is in 4 versions. You get my point. Luganda for Central Region, Lunyankole, where our president is coming from, then Eastern Region, which understands some of Swahili, and then Northern Region, where they speak Acholi and the rest. So one song is in 4 versions because we want to touch base, to reach even to the last person in the community, and with some little English. And then if we are producing, for example, the anthem, actually in Uganda, we are the very first in the whole globe. We are the very first people to produce an anthem that is specific to Spina Bifida and Hydrocephalus. We launched it in 2021, and some of the organizations have reached out to us to start thinking about the disability anthem. So if we have those that can think together with us, because I know if we come up with disability anthem, it will even be used in other African countries and on the whole globe. So that is the value for us we are bringing into the disability platforms. So how did we organize this? Of course, we had workshops, then music production and advocacy. With music workshop, we introduced our young people to different genres of music. We helped them to explore their creativity. Then we tailored the workshop towards their specific needs, incorporating music therapy that aids self-expression and communication. Then music production, the youth with disabilities were engaged in producing the music that raises awareness about inclusion and promotes disability, then songwriting, composition and performance, then concerts. Ladies and gentlemen, what you need to know on this is that you should never allow to be staged youths. Never allow to be just assembled, used, tokenized because of disability promotion, disability rights promotion. Let what we call full participation, I don't remember who presented on participation. People must be involved right from the inception, conceptualization stage. What are you seeing as our issues here? Like I gave you that question at the beginning. Then each child is able to tell their story. Your role is to guide them and work with them. Never ever work with young people or children and you just, I think you've got what I'm trying to put across. So have them involved at every stage. Then advocacy. As they do this music, they work with a consultant who is a star in writing songs. And not every artist is good. If you need to work with children below 10 years, you need to get someone who understands how to work with children. If you need adults, youth, don't bring the ancient. Or, you know, so find someone who is suitable for that category, that can work with the children to produce something that is at the level of the children. We don't want you to be working with children below the age of 5 and you're singing songs of Celine Dion. Huh? So age-appropriate advocacy is also very, very important. We have different versions of, for example, if you're working with the children, you can go on the internet and find age-appropriate UNCRPD, simplified for children, simplified for youth, and simplified for adults that you can use and have the principles that are guiding your song composition. What usually happens is if we want to write about inclusive education, for example, we invite a consultant and we sit with a team of people we work with, bringing issues from the children, and then we are presenting them to him, and then we are also telling him what the conventions talk about, so that by the end of the day, a child is able to say, Salamanca Treaty of 1994 says all children are unique in their own way but have potential. You understand? Okay. How I wish I was speaking Swahili. People here were rapping and I was like, but I can't rap in English, given that it's not my first language. Well, what were the outcomes of our project? 1, increased awareness about the importance of inclusion among youth with disability, improved communication, self-expression, and creativity of youth with disabilities. Then we provided a platform for youth with disability to showcase. Like I was telling you, my colleague, Dr. Aaron, would tell you, in Uganda, I don't know what happens in Kenya, we have so many days for persons with disabilities. Autism, Down syndrome, epilepsy, albinism, Spina, Bifida, then International Day of Persons with Disability, so many. National Inclusive Education, name them. But these children now, they even feel themselves that it's always us to walk the chief guests in, to educate the guests. And you know, when they are singing, you really see VIP team joining them on the platform and they are singing, and that's what the journalists want to report about. The minister joined the children to dance as they sang a song around inclusive education. So there was also increased partnerships between disability organizations, music organizations, and schools. Right now, schools are coming to us. The other song, because in our songs, we are talking about how can teachers be supported, How can parents be involved in the promotion of inclusive education? What is the role of learners in the promotion of inclusive education? Then potential challenges. The opportunities, I think I'll not go through them because we are coming from talking about what you can benefit from there. But we have potential challenges or limitations, and one of them being limited access to resources. At times you need to access drums, nice costumes, studios. This is where the limitation comes from. However, this is never a barrier to us. We build relationships with different people. What Professor Blaise talked about, that we need to build a relationship with media team. Those people are willing to support, but we've not explored the opportunities there. Then inconsistency in creativity. You know how young people change. Today, someone comes that I'm interested in this. Can we stand up, please? Don't worry, I'm about to conclude. Just raise up on your feet. You can stand around the wall. I know the effect oversitting can have on your back. So feel free to listen while standing up, stretch. We are concluding. Yeah, so young people usually, sorry.
Well,
yeah, you can just make her lean against the wall. Yeah, young people are inconsistent in creativity. Today they come up with this, and tomorrow they've changed their mind when you have moved like 5 steps ahead, and they mess you around. So there is always that inconsistency. Then there is also lack of technical know-how, limited time and resources, because these children are in school, and at times really we fail to get time. When they're available, we are not available. When we are available, they are not available. So we really need to have a middle ground on how to work with them and their consultants, but it's never easy. Then cultural barriers. Some cultures, like, for example, music in Central Region, you might find that it's not really, the rhythm and all that is not fully appreciated in Northern Region. So each region has their different cultures. So having music cross from this culture to the other, yet it's in local language, it's really a little bit difficult. That's why we have ended up producing similar songs in different versions. And then lack of interest, of course. Not all young people are interested in music, okay? You get tired of standing, you sit. You feel like remaining standing, it's okay. So, as I come to the end, I would want us to also look at the international figures that have used music to advocate for the rights of persons with disability. And lastly, creating a plan. Because you're here, we need to create a plan. So as we create the plan, you need to identify the problem or the issue you want to address. But in CBM Advocacy Toolkit has a very good approach to advocacy for young people. There is an approach we call RIPE. Yeah? RIPE, R stands for relevant. Is the issue relevant to you, the objective strategic plan of your organization? Do you think people with disabilities you're standing to defend find the issue relevant? Then I stands for important. In this context, important means, does it affect a number of people? Do you have the statistics? Do you know how people are affected and how many that problem affects? Then P stands for, remind me, George? P stands for potential. Do you think that you have the potential, the people you tend to work with have the potential, and the policies have the potential to cause the change you would want to see? And E stands for empowering. As you do this, are you going to be empowered? Are the people you're going to work with going to be empowered? Right approach is very, very important for you to reflect on as you identify the problem. Then 2, understand the community. Identify and engage key teams to develop the strategy or the project with. Choose the right platform if you're to use music and art. Identify local artists who have potential. Don't just work with anyone. Identify those celebrities. Then how are you going to market and promote this advocacy music? Then measuring success. How are you going to measure success? Ladies and gentlemen, let's sit down, please, and do this 1-minute activity. Get your phone. Make sure you have access to internet. Type in casting blessing. Kerstin. Kerstin. Blessing. Space blessing. The word blessing. You search for her. Kerstin. Casting blessing. You can visit. You can visit. Oh, yes. He's saying that I should write it here. You can go to Facebook, you can go to YouTube. Casting blessing. Sorry, my handwriting is not the best. I did not do pre-primary school. That is my daughter, aged 10. She's so much into advocacy. And if you check her out on Facebook, please like her, share her work around advocacy, music, storytelling, and general education. The reason as to why I've told you to do that, as youth in advocacy, your social capital matters a lot. And your advocacy work starts with the network around you. If you have Instagram, Facebook, make sure every time you get an opportunity to meet people like you and from wherever, share your social media handles. Make sure everyone likes and follows you there, and then give them a minute of your presentation to do that. That is when we will be able to reach out to thousands and thousands of people. So thank you so very much for listening to me. I conclude my presentation.